This is the video for how to use hot glue guns. So first off, notice that everything is stored in this location. I'm going to go ahead and set down. Okay, and show you how to get stuff out. So hot glue guns are always stored in a box. You will notice that the cord is very carefully wound up around the base. This is how you have to return your hot glue gun. Then you always need a hot glue gun mat, which is located up here, and your hot glue sticks are located here. There are thicker hot glue sticks and thin hot glue sticks for two different types of hot glue guns. It's important to note that those are all the hot glue sticks we have for the entire class. Once they're gone, they're gone. So today, while we're doing experimentation, mentally keep in mind that this much glue is how much you should use, or even less, like this much glue. If you end up using a whole stick today, it's a waste because all we're doing is learning. We're not putting it on an art project. So please be conscientious of not getting too excited and starting to do other things. Save that excitement for when we actually make the art. So the next thing is how to get power. So we have these hanging electrical cords. Ooh, oh, I missed. Got it a second time. I have to jump to get them because I'm so little. So you pull it down, hear the clicking. Clicking means if I let go, it would stay. And no clicking means it will go back up into the ceiling. Always be important to notice that there's a light right next to it. So be very careful when you let it go to retract into the ceiling. You're gonna pull it down. Listen for clicking, then I can let it go, but I can't just set this on the tabletop. That's a poor decision. Instead, I'm going to take this, I'm going to wrap it around a table leg, and then I'm going to wrap it around the cord. So in case for some reason this got bumped and started retracting, it would stop itself and it wouldn't retract a hot glue gun. So that would be dangerous. Okay, then when it's like this, if there is a light, see that light? You don't have any power. You have to push in the power button. No light means power go. Unwind your hot glue gun cord, plug her in to the outlet. You can do 2 hot glue guns on 1 outlet. Then while you're waiting for your hot glue, never forget to, students are like, it's not working. You gotta turn her on. Okay, you should have a light there. It takes several minutes, like 5 minutes for that to warm up. You will notice that sometimes hot glue gets on this stand. When that happens, we can get it off by resting it on its side, removing the hot glue gun itself, unplugging it from power, and then with this device here, which you can find over by the hot glue guns, and one of these mallets, you just rest this on the little mound of hot glue and tap, and it will pop right off. This is not necessary because there's nothing there. You'll notice they get these big mounds from seepage. Then while my hot glue gun is warming up, go ahead and draw yourself out a design that's pretty simple but has some sort of tight curve to it. And then you're gonna need some sort of secondary paper. I recommend tearing it down so it's not so tall, or cutting it would probably be a better choice, so that it's not so tall. And then from here, the first thing I'm going to practice is the fact that I can draw with hot glue. So take it off the base, I pull the trigger, and as I pull the trigger and tilt, notice don't go straight up and down. Tilt the glue comes out, and I just pull the trigger as I move. My goal is to try and create a consistent hot glue line, and I'm on top of one of these see-through mats because I want to be able to pull this off when I am done. To prevent the hot glue from leaving strings, you push it all the way down and you kind of flick backwards, and then you won't get this long trail of hot glue that goes forever and ever and ever. I'm going to set this to the side. And now I'm going to see if I can hot glue something on top of that curve. So the first thing I have to do is I have to line it up. So I line it up on that edge, and then I kind of mark where it stops, and I fold it. Because the hot glue's not magical. I got to get the shape to match. Then I've got to get it to curve, so I'm going to curve it this way until the paper really wants to sit where the hot glue is going to be. One of the mistakes people make with hot glue is they assume they can mold the paper at the same time. Oop, my paper's a little short. And you can't. You have to pre-mold it. So essentially it's in the shape, right? And the hot glue is just going to finalize it and keep it in place. I don't put hot glue on the whole thing because it would dry too fast. So instead, I do a little mound of hot glue. You'll notice that my hot glue stands off the paper, but it's not excessive. And then I know I have enough hot glue because I'm going to wiggle this piece in place. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. The reason I wiggle it is because I want the hot glue to go on both sides. So can you see how I have hot glue seeping on both sides? I'm going to take the time to make sure that I am right on that edge. And then I have to wait. This is when you talk to your friend or whatever, because you need that hot glue to dry. How do you know you have dry hot glue? Well, some people think they should put their finger in it, but remember, here's a trick. Hot glue's hot, and it burns. When it's hot, things are a hot burn. I know, it's a shocker. So instead, use a pencil or something, and if the pencil, see, my pencil sticks in it, it's not yet dry. If you were to get hot glue on yourself, peel it off right away, go to the sink and just let cold water run on it for a little bit. After a little bit, it shouldn't hurt anymore. If it does still hurt after a couple of minutes under cold water, please let me know and we'll send you to the nurse for some cream. If you were to ever touch the tip of this hot glue gun while it had been plugged in for a while, that's a really big issue and you might have a 2nd-degree burn. So we still need to, at that point, we have to send you to the nurse and have her look at it and see if you need ice or cream or what's going to happen. A fun little tip is, after a couple of minutes, turn your hot glue gun off after a while because you don't need this to be molten hot, and actually it's a pain when you have to wait for an ever and ever and ever for glue to dry because your hot glue is too hot. I could then finish this, but I'm just going to go over here and show you this guy. So I let him rest for a while. I've checked that he's cooled down. And now I can pull him off of this mat because glue doesn't stick to this mat. And look, this is how you can create a texture that could go onto a sculpture or onto a drawing. And this I now could put into my sketchbook so that I have it. All right, there you go. That is your safety video for hot glue.